Good morning. Thank you all for coming. My name is Brian Sullivan. I'm the president of the Nassau County Correctional Officers Benevolent Association. Standing next to me is Correctional Officer Daniel Holland. I'll speak about him in a moment. Behind me are Nassau County Correctional Officers, members of my board that all came out to support us today. We're here today to support our brother officer Daniel Holland, who was viciously attacked by a violent felon being held in our Nassau County Jail facility on numerous violent crimes. Officer Holland was simply doing his job, performing a routine patrol, when he was completely and unprovoked attacked by this inmate. He is still out of work with injuries that occurred on the date. The date of 5/26 was the date of the attack. This violent attack comes at a time in our society when law enforcement officers are constantly on the defensive and under attack, not only by violent felons, but by our very own elected officials who appear to be more interested in the well-being and rights of criminals than they are for the very people who keep them safe and provide order for them every day. We see examples of this insanity coming out of Albany on a conveyor belt every day. Unfortunately, we have been here before. Our officers have been assaulted and attacked before, and those inmates were charged with those crimes, only to see plea deals made with those attackers whose original criminal cases were rolled together with these types of assaults. In those instances, the attacks on our officers inside our facility saw little or no justice for that violent act that was committed while they were in custody. A crime is a crime, whether committed on a street corner or in a correctional facility, and it should be treated exactly as such. Each violent act should be treated and charged separate and distinct from each other violent act. We have also been here before talking about staffing in our facility, training, and emergency response. I have repeatedly spoken publicly in numerous public forums, in the media, and with our county about the importance of training, staffing, and our emergency response capabilities. The emergency response capabilities going back to our former sheriff, Michael Spizzato. This is all now the full responsibility of our current sheriff, Vera Flood, and her administration. Nothing's being done to address any of this. Training, equipment, staffing, emergency response, tools, you name it, we're still sitting here with nothing being done. Nothing has occurred here to restore the draconian gutting of this department that took place under the Mangano administration, and this jail is not a safe place because of it. They did add Narcan training, but next year under the new bail reform laws, we won't be arresting drug dealers or drug-addicted criminals anymore, so Narcan training really isn't going to matter. This could have been a much worse scenario if not for the actions, once again, of our dedicated correction officers who have each other's backs. In instances like this, if they were able to escalate, the lack of everything that I've outlined above presents a very real and present danger to the safety and security of our facility. I thank you for your attention. I'll take any questions.
Can you talk about the rap sheet of this defendant and what, what was
Sure. This defendant, his name is Roger Bassoon. He is currently being held in our facility on a rape in the first charge, sexual abuse, several weapons possessions charges, and burglary charges. He's a real peach.
And can you discuss what happened?
Sure. Officer, I'll let Officer Holland speak for himself.
Officer Daniel Holland. How you doing? Thank you. I was doing a routine patrol, and a lot of people don't realize when after criminals out of their hands, that's when we begin our interaction with them. And a lot of people don't realize how the jail works. It's usually one officer with about 50 inmates in a dorm room, and you have very little to protect you. And the hope is that, of course, that there's going to be kind of a mutual respect while they're in the jail, but a lot of times it doesn't work out that way. You have people, you're surrounded by people who obviously can be very dangerous people, and things happen, very unpredictable situation, and this actually looks a lot better right now than it was at the time. I thought I had lost an eye. There was blood completely covering the eye, couldn't see out of it, and came out of nowhere. It was completely unpredictable and unexpected.
Can you describe the assault?
And so I had seen this inmate. We were closing down the dorms for a feeding, and I saw this inmate get up out of his chair. He looked a little bit unsteady or something, and we have to look out for medical conditions if anybody's experiencing something that they may need assistance. So I had walked over to see what the problem was, and out of nowhere, I was with a closed fist. He punched me in the left eye. I hit the floor and injured my back and shoulder. And like I said, I thought I had lost an eye at the time, because it could have even been worse if there was an object, even a pen in the hand. probably would have permanently lost an eye. And after the blood had cleared, I had multiple stitches over the eye, and now the eye's healing quite a bit. Don't know what's going on with the back yet, but.
Officer, how do you feel about the job right now?
I mean, you know, we were told in the academy that it's dangerous and unpredictable, and you never know ahead of time what your day is going to be like. I finished 20 years last October, and so far I've been pretty lucky. You know, as I said, a lot of times you can kind of establish a mutual respect between people, but it's always an unpredictable situation. And you know, this was one of those unpredictable things. But there's a lot of things happening in the jail. This is just a single example.
Officer, in the dorm by yourself with multiple inmates surrounding you, you're now being attacked. Were you fearing for your life at that moment?
Of course, that crosses your mind. You know, when the adrenaline's kind of pumping, and again, I'm looking on the floor to see if I lost an eye. But there is also that thought in the back of your head. It could be, it could be a setup. It could be there's multiple gangs in the jails, of course, and you really don't know what it's going to progress to. It could be a single inmate, or it could be multiple. Fortunately, in this one, it was a single inmate who was unstable. And
do you have a plan to go back to work at this point, or?
I have to find out, from all the medical tests and when I can return. But I'm ready and willing to return as soon as I'm able to.
If you could ask the county exec, what would you say to the county exec?
We definitely have to prosecute these things as full as we can, and show that it's a serious thing that's happening to the officers.
Are more officers needed inside the dorms?
Well, there's probably more needed on the job. They are hiring, but since the Magano administration, there's been a shortage that they've been trying to account for, and as a result of that, it's not only the immediate danger, but they were forcing officers to work a lot of extra hours. It was shown in Newsday that certain officers were making all kinds of money. There was no mention of the fact that a lot of them were being forced to work these hours. You could work enough hours on a paper route and look like you're making a good salary, but it's not safe, and if you're that tired and you've been working that many hours, it becomes even more unstable and unsafe.
Can you say and spell your name?
My name's Daniel Holland.
And
Daniel, and Holland.
Have you had any problems with this inmate before in the past?
Never. In fact, I had some communication with him. It seemed like a usual situation. They know at the jail, the inmates kind of know that I am strict with the rules. That I'll follow the rules, but I'm fair about it. And I've had friendly contact with him before. It was very unpredictable.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming out. The inmates will be here soon. We're going to arraign them in Arraignment A. And thank you for coming out. Is there anything else I can do?
What's the charge today?
I don't know the official charge. I would certainly hope that it's going to be an assault in the second due to the nature of the injuries. He had several stitches over his eye. He's got back injuries and shoulder injuries. So that's what we're here first and foremost, to make sure that this inmate is charged with the fullest extent of the law, and that it's treated that way. And unlike in the past, where the inmates outside first criminal charges end up getting rolled into these things with plea bargains, we don't want the message being sent to inmates that it's okay to put your hands on correction officers because you're not going to be charged. We're just worried about your first crime. These things need to be treated as crimes in the jail, just like crimes in the street are. That's the message. Thank you very much.